I built a business fast, made millions before I could even legally drink, and then lost everything almost overnight. And the reason it happened has nothing to do with bad luck, everything to do with a mistake most entrepreneurs are making right now. In this video, I'm breaking down 4 lessons I learned the hard way that every entrepreneur or business owner needs to hear before early momentum quietly turns into collapse. If you're scaling fast, making real money, or finally feeling like things are working, this video might actually save you years. If you're new here, I'm Bornancin, CEO at Seamless.ai, a company I built to $250 million in sales and sold a portion of it to private equity for $70 million. I still run the company today to help you grow your business and make more money. Lesson number 1. My first lesson is a mistake most entrepreneurs make when success shows up early and fast. Confusing momentum with durability. When I was 18, I built an online poker affiliate business. My freshman year did about $1 million in sales. My sophomore year did about $3 million in sales. And in my junior year, $6 million. It was wild. Ohio University gave me my own office. We had our own interns, full-time people. Picture Mark Zuckerberg in the movie The Social Network.
Welcome to Facebook.
It was unlike anything that anyone has ever seen in college. And if you've ever watched a revenue graph go vertical, you know how intoxicating that is. And when you're 19, you don't think in terms of risk, exposure, or dependency. You think, okay, I'm just damn good at this, right? So by the time I was 20, I'd done about 12 million in sales, and I generally thought it meant I was set. I was the best entrepreneur in the world. I was the richest self-made kid in college before I could even drink. I had the cars, the travel, the houses, the freedom, and then literally overnight, it all disappeared. Not because I did something illegal or because I made some massive mistake. One policy change I had no control over, and the entire business disappeared.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry with millions of participants, and on Friday, it was shut down by federal agents.
The FBI, the Department of Justice, have shut down 3 of the biggest online gambling sites in the United States.
The US government banned online poker, the thing that my entire business was built on. So 1 month, revenue is skyrocketing, climbing, boom, 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 all this money, like Leo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street.
Hey, fellas, look what I found in my pocket. Look, a year's salary right here.
The next day, we had dropped to $0. There was no taper, there was no warning. Everything had just stopped on the buzzer. And that's when I learned something that sounds so obvious, but doesn't feel obvious until it happens to you. Revenue is not guaranteed. Big numbers don't mean safety. They just mean things are working right now. But that can change. But in order to build a real successful business, it cannot be built on a single point of failure. You've got key man risk, channel risk, legal risk. What I learned the hard way is the same thing that wipes out a lot of founders, business owners, operators, salespeople right after they're winning, because early success lies to you and makes you think you've built something durable, unstoppable, when all you've really built is something that's working right now for one single channel or one group of people. And if you're in sales, you're growing your business and scaling fast, you're trying to build something that actually lasts longer than the next quarter or the next year, I recommend to try to slow down. Look for points of failure. I call these constraints. See, what I didn't understand yet was that I had one product, online marketing for gambling, in one category, in one country, dependent on one regulator, the US government. Which in hindsight, those are a ton of single points of failures that happen to look successful. But money hides fragility really well. And the truth is, my business was built on unstable ground. So I did what most people do when revenue spikes. I scaled my lifestyle, my revenue, my business, my marketing, more than my understanding. Lesson number 2, you can't force product market fit, no matter how badly you want it to work. So instead of slowing down and reassessing current market needs, I did what a lot of people do after they lose something. I jumped straight into the next idea. I took what I had left and built a company called InMobile, my second startup. So the idea for InMobile was amazing. We sent deals and offers directly to people's phones, basically coupons on your phone before the iPhone ever existed. So in my head, I was like, this is early, this is smart, big companies are gonna want this. Here's what I didn't understand yet though. Selling to big companies is a completely different game. When you sell to a Fortune 500 company, you're not talking to one person. You're talking to like 50 people. A ton of people can say maybe, a ton of people don't even know what to do. And then you've got a few decision makers that need approval, legal, a buying committee that meets once a quarter, tons of red tape, security, legal compliance. So even if they like your product, nothing actually moves. And I thought I could fix that by trying harder, going to more events, setting up more meetings, bringing on more money. And that's the lesson I learned the expensive way. If your product doesn't solve a pain they feel right now, no amount of education, hustle makes them move faster. And that shift changed everything. I want to stop thinking about immobile because that was so painful. So let's move on to lesson number 3. When you're on the brink of losing it all, but refuse to give up, you're about to win. Whatever you do, do not give up. So I had no idea at the time, but that moment changed my life forever. Not because I lost all the money, because it forced me to reset completely, shutting down the company, lost about $4 million. And instead of chasing another idea, what I had to do is I had to start back from the beginning. What did I do? What did I not know? And I realized it was sales. I had to rebuild from the ground up and get a job in sales. And in these moments, you feel like a complete failure. You were once this successful entrepreneur on your way to scaling to tens of millions. And then all of a sudden, everything's gone. You have to go back to the basics, and which for me was back to selling for someone else. But it was in these quiet hustle moments that I was unknowingly changing my life by getting back in the ring, focusing this time on what problems I could solve. What did I not know? Learning the hard things that I didn't know to be successful with in mobile. You don't wake up thinking this is your comeback story. You wake up thinking, how am I going to pay rent? In that whole deal, I ended up taking a job at IBM Interactive, then selling for a top Google search agency, and going from richest kid in college to an org chart, super humbling. I was at the bottom. But honestly, that's where things actually started to change. I had my biggest breakthrough ever, which leads to lesson number 4. The fastest way to win isn't trying harder, it's solving a problem people already feel. Selling for IBM and Google, I realized something that bothered me constantly. As an enterprise seller, I was wasting about 75% of my time building lists, finding contacts, bad data, manual prospecting. It all just seemed like so much damn work. Like we were leaving tons of money on the table. I wasn't thinking I should start a company. I was just annoyed. So I decided, look, I'm going to try to build a tool to automate the most painful part of my job so that I can make more money. That tool became Seamless, a tool that gives you verified emails, cell phones, buyer data, job changes so you can focus on actually selling. By the way, if you're in sales and prospecting still eats away at your calendar, there's a free trial to Seamless below. Everyone can join for free at seamless.ai. This was a massive lesson because every single failure was leading to my greatest achievement. But at the time, no part of the journey feels that way. The poker business taught me funnels and how fragile single channel revenue is. And mobile taught me you can't force product market fit. And enterprise sales taught me that leverage beats effort every time. And when you zoom out, all of those lessons collapse into one rule I live by now. Never build a business on a single point of failure. Because the first rise mostly teaches you what not to do. The fall teaches you who you are without the scoreboard. And the second rise, if you make it there, is where people finally build something that lasts. But most people never get to the second rise. Not because they can't win, or they're not smart enough, or they don't work hard enough, but because they tie their identity to the first version of success. And if I would have done that, I would never have gotten up again. Be the version of you that works hard, builds fast, but also thinks in terms of being unstoppable and bulletproof. And slow down enough to see when a pivot isn't only a good idea, it's the one that will change everything. If you're ready to 10x your sales this year, watch this next video and learn about the top 4 AI products that change everything. I'll see you in the next one.